And I wanted to ask and open it up and say, why does this still resonate? There's a question in the book here, in the wonderful historical essay here. It says, why are we telling this story? Why are we still telling this story? This is a story that was told a century and a half ago, that has been remembered and forgotten and remembered again. Why are we still telling this story? For those of you who have read this narrative, why are you here? You could be anywhere on a Saturday night. For those of you who haven't read this story, aside from the fact that this is a 2-hour opportunity to get this story rather than having to sit with the book for many, many days, why are you here? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this? And I hope that Lydia and others, I have a colleague, Marisa Fuentes, who's a historian of slavery from Rutgers, who's here, and lots of other very skillful, knowledgeable people. So why are you all here? Why does this still resonate? Why should we be telling this story?
Maybe Lydia would talk about why.
Yes. Lydia, why did you tell this story?
We were just doing, okay, so this is the conversation we just had. I said, we should go drinking with them after the show. And then Megan said, he's a genius. And I said, I know.
That's not the answer.
I don't even know what the question was.
Why were you attracted to writing Harriet's story?
Why tell this story 150 years after?
You know, it's funny, my whole identity as a playwright, prior to an adaptation I did of Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, a couple of years before doing this, had been about my commitment to putting images of people who look like me on stage in a contemporary setting, because we so often have this kind of infantilized historical perspective on a stage of people of color, and particularly black women. And so I never, ever, ever, ever thought I had a slave play in me. And it was not until I had the powerful experience of watching young audiences, high school audiences, respond to The Bluest Eye. And I would go into the schools and talk to them before the show, and then I would go after and talk to them, and I saw these huge holes in their education around the way our country was formed and their place in it. And I'd fallen in love with Harriet Jacobs' story years and years and years before. So I think the planets aligned, and I felt just cocky enough to be able to try it. And I understood why it was important. It also happens that I was writing it just as the election was starting. No, was it even? Yes. And so the primaries were going on, and so that added another level. And the conversations with the young people were just amazing. That was why I thought it needed to be told, and it was a good lesson for me, because I thought that we didn't have room for another story on a stage in February. And then what was interesting was that I spent so much time working to make sure that the play wasn't. I didn't want it to be those same 5 romanticized images we've seen. I worked so hard to not have it be that for a long time I sort of got lost in the storytelling, because I knew what it shouldn't be. I wasn't sure, and it was Harriet who sort of guided me through what it was and what it was supposed to be. Does that answer the question? Yeah. And can we go drinking after?
Sure. You're going to become a lot less of a genius. The more drinks I have, as my friends will attest to. That wouldn't stop with them.